men's lacrosse team began their season with a non-conference game against Army, the 20th ranked team in the nation, on Saturday afternoon. Our man behind the scenes, Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, was there in that cold weather at McGurk Stadium with the story.
The UMass men's lacrosse team hosting the number 20 Army Black Knights for the first game of the season on Saturday. But take a look at this. This is supposed to be a spring sport, right? Look at all this snow. But what do the Minutemen say to this snow? Bring it. Game on. The Black Knights came out fast in this one as Alex Newsom passes it over to Cole Johnson, who weaves through some defenders and scores to put Army up 2-0. A little later in the first period, and once again it's Cole Johnson with the score. A few minutes later, the Minutemen trying to clear it, but they turn it over, and John Glessner passes it up to who else but Cole Johnson, who scores for the third time in a row and leads Army on a 6-0 run. It took until the second period, but UMass finally gets its first goal of the season from Buddy Carr, who scores to make it 6-1. But the Black Knights say, it's just a flesh wound, and guess who? Cole Johnson, again with his fourth goal of the game, as he leads Army to the victory over UMass, 12-7.
Welcome back. I'm here with our lacrosse analyst, and that's Liam Byrne and Joey Saade. Joey's back for another segment. We're starting off with the game against Army. We just saw the video that Jesse showed us. Obviously a cold day, a tough loss. They go down 5-0, the UMass lacrosse team, and it was just a bad start from the beginning, a bad start to the season. So Liam, actually Joey, I'm going to go to you first. What was your major takeaway from this game? It was a tough game for the Minutemen, but what did you take away from it?
I mean, first of all, Chris, it was their first game of the year, obviously playing in tough conditions, which is not an excuse because obviously Army had to play through that too. But they're playing a ranked team, you know, like you said earlier, Army's 20th ranked in the country. They got outshot 32-17. There was really no offense. Army controlled the ball. They won the ground ball game 22-14. You know, when you lose both sides, shots and ground balls, it's tough. When Army's controlling, you know, time of possession, when the ball is in your zone the entire time, it's tough, especially when you go down 5-0 against a very legitimate team. It's tough to come back, even if you're at home. Nick Mariano was kind of the bright spot for the team. He had 4 points. He led the team with 6 shots. He had 3 goals and assists. He's coming off a great year, and Liam's going to get into that soon. So you need to look for more offense. You know, only getting off 17 shots. You only had 3 guys who shot three or more shots in the game. Obviously, they didn't have the ball for a very long time, and you know, playing defense is hard for a long time. So I think it's just one of those games you look at, you scrap away, you get the best out of it. You're playing a good team, first game of the year. You just move on.
Obviously, Coach Cannell has a lot of young players on this team, a lot of new players. So Liam, tell me a little bit about some of the players that are really going to be key standouts for the team this year.
Well, 3 players we have that I'm going to point out is like what Joey just said. Sophomore attackman Nick Mariano, 3 goals against Army. He won 2 Rookie of the Year awards for last year being a freshman, and this year he was awarded on the All-CAA team. He scored 29 goals last year as a freshman, which is big, wow, especially for a freshman. Also, junior defenseman Kyle Carrasca, he also made the preseason team, and their redshirt senior, co-captain midfielder Ryan Izzo was drafted to the MLL actually in January, a couple weeks ago. Selected 4th by the Ohio Machine, actually selected in the 4th round by the Ohio Machine. So they're a young team, UMass. They have 5 sophomores who started against Army, 12 freshmen, 12 sophomores on the team, and only 4 juniors and 4 seniors. So like you said, they're a young team, have new guys coming in, and for Army, their main goal scorer was Cole Johnson, and he was, like you saw in Jesse's package there, he was all over the field, and he was scoring for Army like it was his job, and it was his job.
Well, the team was 7-6 last year. Obviously, a tough record in the conference, 1-4. So it was a tough season for them last year. A lot of those players were even younger than they are now. Obviously, Izzo has stepped up as one of the key defenders on the team. So Joey, what do you expect from this team this year? You think they're going to make it into the tournament?
Well, you know, like you and Liam said, it's a young team. They lost 5 seniors. They only have 4 on this roster. It's going to take some time. But also, when you're talking about a young team, they did return a lot of players from last year. A lot of young players who have a lot of experience. You know, like Liam said, 12 sophomores, 12 incoming freshmen. You got 3 starters on offense coming back. You got 3 starters on defense coming back, including your goalie Zach Oliveri, who's been there. You know, he had a pretty good game against Army. He had 12 saves, which is pretty legitimate on 32 shots. Obviously, when the ball is in your zone, it's hard against a good offensive team like that. But you know, I think there's going to be some growing pains. I think it's a great sign that they do have a lot of guys who are young coming back. it's a game that, you know, involves a lot of strategic play. You know, offense, defense, the midfield position is going to be huge. Like I said, defense as well. It's just going to depend on how quick they pick it up. I think it's a blessing in disguise also to have young players, but it's also losing some seniors. Not having a lot of senioritis on that team might be a downfall. I think it's a little early to talk about the A-10 tournament. Obviously, we're only one game in the season, but you know that's all I have to say.
All right, well, thank you, Joey, and thank you, Liam. We'll look forward to this team really growing this year, and we'll see if they can make a push. You never know. I mean, you had a team a couple years ago who they were the #1 seed in the tournament, and they obviously dropped that first game, which was tough. But we'll see how this team will fare this year, and just stay tuned. We'll be right back, and we're going to talk women's basketball.